What's happening, everybody? It's your man, Dame DNYDC, host of the Two Mics Up podcast. Back tonight with a brand new King's Corner episode. I'm really excited, to have two gentlemen that, in my opinion, are really doing big things here in the community. Uh, they're bringing a whole new outlook for what I like to say, building for the future. These gentlemen are doing great things in their respective fields. And I'm going to just go ahead and take a moment to allow each one of them to take a moment to introduce themselves to you. Uh, Let them talk about what it is that they're doing before we go ahead and jump in to the question. So we're going to get started. I'm going to go ahead, Quan, if you could take a moment and introduce yourself to our listeners, give them a little history about your background and what you're doing here in the DMV.
Hey everybody, I'm Ellis. I go by Quan, and my business is Next Level Keyz. It's a credit restoration company, and I believe in helping our people getting their credit right. A lot of people come to me and they want to buy a house, so
Mm.
that's very rewarding to help to see somebody go from a bad credit score to helping them get their first house. Because in this country, that's one of the foundational ways to build wealth in this country. So that's very rewarding to help people get to reach that point.
Mm. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead now and I'm going to move over Cliff, Mr. Durham. Could you go ahead and take a moment and introduce yourself to everybody?
Sure. Hello, world. I'm Clifton Durham. Call me Cliff. Um, I've been in the insurance industry for about 3 years. Formerly in the wireless industry. Ventured out, to the insurance agency to better help my peoples understand the whole concept and importance of insurance. And I have my own business now, coming from a corporate company. And yeah, man, I'm excited to be here. Excited to start this new business and take care of my peoples.
That's what I'm talking about. So, both of you, I like the energy that you're talking about, what you're trying to build, not only for yourself, but for the community. And I'm going to start, I'm curious to know, and I was talking with you, Cliff, what is it that made you, Lise, what's happening, sis? Thanks for joining us tonight.
Lisa,
Chanel, see you out there. Thank you for joining us. Costa Rican, thank you. I just have to ask, what made you choose to get into, the insurance game?
well, being in the wireless world, you know, it was a communications and cell phones and wireless period turned into a need instead of a want.
Mm,
And my passion is always to push the need. All right. I only believe in products if it's beneficial to you, beneficial to your life, beneficial to your family, however. So insurance just is on another level of that. All
right.
right. People don't really understand how important insurance is, whether it's personal, commercial, life, whatever the case may be, until something happens.
Mm,
And then one thing I don't want my peoples to be is in the shoulda coulda stage.
right.
If I would have had this wouldn't happen. All right,
Right.
so I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna help change something about that. So that's what made me get into the insurance world.
Okay. And I like that. So, Quan, I'm going to ask you the same question. As far as getting into credit repair, you know,
Before I answer that, I want to follow Cliff up. I agree with you so much. I hate to see when someone passes
mm,
and we want to create a GoFundMe.
right.
Right.
It's
Right.
not
Right.
that expensive to bury someone.
Mm.
Insurance is so important.
So let me before you even go on, because I to those and some of us are in different mindsets and different spaces of life.
Of
And when
course.
you say insurance is not that expensive, can you kind of elaborate that on? Because someone in a better place or space may agree with you, but someone who may not be in that financial space or even in that mental space to even understand what you're talking about.
I'll
Could
ask
you
the
kind
question. I'll let Cliff answer.
of
The average burial expensive, what would you say they are, Cliff?
The average could it's about 15. Depends on how you want to do it. If we're talking, pardon me, cremation compared to actual burial, it could be anywhere from 15 on up.
okay.
Let's just say a $30,000 policy.
Okay.
What does that look like as far as a monthly payment or a yearly payment for a $30,000 policy?
Man, it really depends on by your age. That's why it's real important to educate the younger, because
Right.
as you get older, obviously it gets more expensive. But I mean, and there's different type of policies, from term, no medical, such like that. But I've seen $50,000 benefits for as low as $17 a month.
Wow.
I've seen 100,000 for as low as $25 a month. Now,
Wow.
as you get older, it's going to be more, obviously. But if you educate, your peoples now,
Right.
from when they're young going older, it's
Wow.
it's just less of a headache.
That's
But
That's crazy. Okay, so now I get it. And this is why I really wanted to have this conversation with you two gentlemen, because again, now I'm in a different space and I may understand it, but for those who hopefully are tuning in, that are not familiar with how this credit game or this insurance game actually works, this is a tutorial for them, hopefully, to understand. You know what? Maybe I need to reach out to a Quan or to a Cliff to get more information, and that's why I really pose that question. And I thank you both for working off each other and really asking that, because people need to hear this, man. And yes, Costa Rican, this convo really is needed, and it really is important.
and Dave, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Where you a genius at in what you do, because not actually talking to Quan, but between his business and mine, we're definitely a partnership in the making.
Well,
you follow me? Because one needs the other.
So and here's the thing. So I'm not going to call myself a genius, but when you sit, and this is so my co-host Elisa, she said yes, the younger generation should get annuities.
Absolutely.
With someone that told her that, and we talk about it. Lisa and I, we've talked about it. My wife talked about it, being a little bit older. But to piggyback on your question, Cliff, it's not really about genius, but I now, having some time under my belt and doing this and sitting with our team, kind of trying to build, what do I think, our platform being educate, empower, and impact. What people do, we have not necessarily at our disposal, but really bring something to the table. And when I did this one, I'm not going to lie, this was really because two of you gentlemen are sponsors of the show, which, amen, thank you both for supporting Two Mics Up. But
thank you for accepting us.
Hey, no, man, I appreciate you. But the bigger picture, like what you said, you two are now a network build. And this is what we should be doing every day, not just as men, but people of color. How can we connect and build our networks and our system? Now that you know each other, hopefully my goal is when you walk away from this, you share information. You guys will be able to build networks on the side to help, again, build for the future. And this is what, we should be doing and work on forward. And question from Costa Rica, Cliff, if you could, please break down the annuities for young folks. And you don't have to go into detail, but if you can give a synopsis of what that is.
To sum it up in a quick word, annuity is a super savings account. All right. I do not know no savings account. I don't care who you bank with, that is going to give you more growth of percentage per year. All right. I could give you an example. You could put, say you in your 20s, or you get a big lump sum of money, you could throw, I'll take $10,000. You could go as low as $5,000. There's some companies that you could start off with. When I used to work for this one company, there was programs that you could start off at $500.
Wow.
All right. And you could gain anywhere from 2.5 up to 5% per year.
Wow.
All right, off of your investment. Now, there is no savings account that's doing that. All right. And I know, some people are going to say, well, you have mutual funds for that.
Right.
Absolutely. But annuities, you are not going to lose your investment. Now, your interest could go up and down, but as far as your initial investment, you're not going to lose that. And that's very important.
Right.
That's very important. And then after, a year of putting your investments in, sometimes you run through troubles in life that you need to take that out. You have that saved for a year. Next year, you need that back. Well, now there's, programs that you're not going to get hit with certain fees.
Right. Okay.
Stuff like that. So basically, I could, like you said, that's a conversation to get real deep in. But annuities is basically a super savings account that you could put money in. So by the time you get to your retirement age, you have a nice amount sitting in your account.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to step back because I love when our audience has questions for you, gentlemen. Um, and I'm gonna let you both, feel free to answer. Just let me know who wants to jump in first. The question here is, can you set up annuities for others, like your older children? Is that something that's possible?
Absolutely, you'll be the owner of the account, just like life insurance.
Mm,
Um, I set up a whole life for my son. All right, and he's at the time when I did it, he is 15.
mm,
Okay, and with a whole life, it gains cash value.
okay.
So and I speaking into existence that my son's going to grow up to be healthy, have kids, so forth and so on. So by the time he's in his 30s, 40s, even when he has kids, he'll have that whole cash value saved up. That's a nice chunk of money he could do what he ever needs to do with it. And that cash value has nothing to do with your death benefit.
Hmm.
As far as if something happens, um, he
So,
won't qualify for it.
so the flip side of that thing, so that doesn't require anything where, so let's say like Quan doing credit pay, that doesn't require any type of credit or any background check or anything like this
No,
setup, anything like that, right?
not at
Okay.
all. Where Quan's business come in, that is very, very helpful is, like for instance, I deal with a lot of car dealerships. All
Mm,
right, that I have young people, first time buyers. I have older people getting in cars, and the ones the customers that I take care of that go to your big manufacturer dealers, your Lexuses, your Affinities, Acuras, whatever, they're good. They have your low premiums and stuff like that because they have great credit. Well,
right.
some of these buy here, pay here. You're trying to start over. If you're going through bankruptcies, whatever the case may be, you have to go to these car dealerships, and your interest rate will be high, on your
Mm-hmm.
car payments. Well, if it's kind of the same thing with insurance. All right, if you're going to have a high interest rate due to credit, that will also affect your insurance rate
Right.
as well. All right, so where like instantly I could team up with Quan because I have customers that start out, with a high interest rate. You go get a car. What's the famous thing you hear from the salespeople? Well, in 6 months you can refinance.
Right, right,
What if
right.
my credit don't get fixed? I can't refinance. So what the hell does that? What does that mean?
Right,
But
right,
that's a selling point. Not knocking them, but
right.
just education of it. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, you can refi in 6 months to a year. But if your credit getting changed,
Yeah.
that interest rate is not going nowhere. So a brother like Quan, in 6 months to a year, I can help you get your credit fixed because I have a partner that's what he does.
Mhm.
Now he done helped you get your credit up. Within a year, you refinance. Now you believe what the car person is saying to
Got
you
you.
because you see it in the
Got you.
maintenance.
So then in reverse, then Quan. So what steps would you take, or what steps could you share in a synopsis for some of our younger folks, and even some of our older folks? Is
Absolutely.
we still fall into that trap,
All ages. All
all
ages.
ages, right? So what
All
could you
ages.
share in reverse from your side of the ball to
So
kind of help us navigate that?
people always think about the money coming out of their pocket in terms of it being expensive to fix your credit.
Mm-hmm.
But people don't understand if you have bad credit, and using the same example, if you're going to buy a car, you're going to pay for that car 3 times. And
Mm.
you're going to waste way more money paying for that car 3 times than getting your credit fixed 1 time. It's a
Okay.
lot less expensive. So bad credit, you pay out a lot more,
Mm-hmm.
way more than what you have if you have good credit.
So if you could, then what would you say would be one of the first things that you would advise outside of just go ahead and paying that money? What would you advise a person? And yes, Lisa, I agree with you. Young people and old, we need to listen up and treat these gentlemen like royalty. They'll treat you like royalty when your credit is good. But what would be one of the first things, Quan? Maybe you can
Facts.
share that if they can't come out and let's say pay you, are there some incremental steps that you can share that maybe just to kind of get people on the road to good credit health that you may be able to share at this moment?
Of course. So 80% of credit reports have errors.
Okay.
So checking your credit report annually definitely helps, and you can get a free report from all each three bureaus every year for free.
Mhm.
And right now, because of COVID and some other things, I think some of them are giving you a free report every month.
Oh wow.
So knowing what's on your credit report is definitely the first step.
Okay. Okay. See, I didn't know that with COVID. I didn't even know you can check that joint. You can get that joint every month. That's a good way to know what's on there. And just real quick, I just want to jump. What's the best way would you say to fight an error? If you were to, catch one or see one, identify one, what's the best way to fight that error on your credit report?
So
I gotta take notes on this one.
there's a lot
Quan,
of
I need
options. They'll give you options to call in over the phone or to go online. But the best way is to send a letter. It's to send a letter in. Say stating what errors are on your report, why is it incorrect, and the result you want done.
Okay.
I.e., take this off or this account isn't mine. You want to instruct them on what to do.
Okay.
Also, too, it's going a little deeper, but knowing what's in the Fair Credit Reporting Act, knowing your rights, that helps out a lot, because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any, because you can't use them to benefit you. So I definitely suggest people check that out so you know your rights, because a lot of these companies, they violate your rights every day, and we don't even know it.
Yeah, I'm about to say you just hit me with something. I'm saying that Fair Credit Act. I gotta go, babe. You got that? You write that down, right? Because I gotta go. I gotta check that one
It
out.
requires a little work and some study, but it's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate you sharing that, and I hope everybody's listening.
I already know.
Yeah, right. I know you know about it, but I'm just saying, make sure it help me out. Got my boss over here. We working.
no doubt.
So I have to ask then, with in the seriousness of it all, and for both of you, what would you say then is the most unique thing you find about your business? Like, what is it that you find unique that even still kind of drives you or motivates you to continue doing what you're doing? And I'll start with you, Quan.
Education, because we know certain things and we think it's common knowledge at times, but a lot of people don't know. So it's continually educating people and giving them value that's going to benefit them in the long run. So along with helping prepare people credit, also educate them, going forward in life.
Okay. And Cliff, I'm going to ask you the same.
Mine is the type of products that I offer, and the features that's part of it. Like, for instance, with auto insurance, you'll be surprised how many people don't know the difference in the deductibles. So, for instance, if I say to you, you have a $500 deductible for comprehensive, and you have a $500 deductible for collision. Some don't really know the difference.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that quick synopsis then, just kind of spell it out just real quick, if you could.
All right. I take, for instance, I have a customer that went into a car wash, and you know how you got to get on the track and have the car wash push your car through. Well, it got off track and messed up under the bumper.
Okay.
And under it tore off the bumper a little bit, messed up the light, so forth and so on. So the collision deductible was $500. However, the comprehensive deductible was $250.
Okay.
And the customer was stressing about paying the first $500. But with comprehensive being at $250, that's what covered it, because the accident happened other than getting into an accident with another car. So you only use your collision deductible if you're in an accident with another car. But if you're someone that gets dings on your windows from driving on the highway, or if you're living in the country and a deer hit you and stuff like that, now your comprehensive deductible is playing the fact into it. So that sometimes people have that lower than the actual collision. So just stuff like that. Education.
Yeah,
it's all about education.
Yep.
No, I appreciate that. So then let's get into not just the education from the education, but I wanted this for our listeners, because I want to just ask what, like, both of you gentlemen, you can service people nationwide. correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to ask, can you, Quan, just give a little more detail about some of the products and services that you can offer and provide to anyone who may be looking to work on their credit repair?
So what I could offer is once I first get a client, I would find out what their goals are, so we can develop a strategy going forward. If it's just to buy a house or maybe to get a higher score to get a better rate on your car or credit card. So I bring talk to people, find out what their goals are, what they want to do, and from that point we do a credit pull to see what's on the credit report and do an analysis to see what's actually on there, and
Okay,
from there move forward with implementing our strategy. How
okay,
we gonna help improve this credit profile.
okay. Cliff.
With me, I can on the insurance side is more of licensing in the states. All right.
Okay,
So like for instance, right now I'm licensed in the DMV, New York, North Carolina, and I'm working my way to major parts of the East Coast, Georgia, Florida, so forth and so on. Now with life, you do have some instances that you could service anybody nationwide. But
okay.
as far as the best products and where do they need to start off at? It all depends. All right, it's what you're
Okay.
comfortable with. I like to tell. I saw the question that
Right.
Lisa had,
Right.
and
I
that
want to come. Right. I
yeah,
want to
that
come
had
back to
me
that.
yeah
Yeah, I wanted to come back
that
to that after you finish.
that had
Yeah.
me thinking about that. People been with certain insurance companies for years.
Mm-hmm.
All right, um, 10, 20 years. However, they don't understand that the rates are not just controlled by the company.
Okay.
And with insurance, you're not on no contracts at all. I always suggest to get your insurance account reviewed every 6 months. If you have 6 month policies, every year. If you have 12-month policies, because so many things change. Now, be loyal to your agent. If you
Okay.
have a personal agent, personal consultant, and that's what I'm into, that is looking after your policies, your well-being of insurance, that's the person you want to be loyal to because they're taking care of you. As
Okay.
far as being loyal to the company, if you're
Hmm.
calling up customer service, you're a number.
Okay.
You're just a
Got you.
number, and you're going to read right what's off the screen and just give them, what's available.
Got you.
All right. So
Mm.
always to answer your question, Lisa, yes, every year, especially with homes, because 9 times out of 10, your home insurance is escrowed into your mortgage. So if that's a way to make your
Mm.
mortgage a little cheaper,
Yeah.
absolutely do it.
Yeah.
One
Yeah.
thousand percent.
Mm. Well, thank you for answering that. And for those of you who are just joining us or got in a little late, we're here, two mics up. We're on the King's Corner segment. We're continuing the conversation of educating, empowering, and impacting our community. Uh, but we want to add a little inspiration, to the conversation tonight with these two men who are out here really doing incredible things. Like I said, we're talking off air. I was talking with Quan. I don't know a lot of brothers that do credit repair. I find it fascinating. And thank you, Costa Rican. Yes, it is super informative. These gentlemen are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm inspired to, want to know more. And I'm hoping, creating this link, these men will be able to do business together in the future. And with that, I have to ask. So, putting your business owner hat on as business owners, what are some of your responsibilities that you have to deal with day in and day out, and which would you prefer to defer if you could, or which ones you find the hardest to you know where I'm going. Like, which ones would you defer or not like to deal with that business hat on? And Quan, since you laughing, bro, I'm gonna start with you.
So I'm sure in Cliff business too. You deal with people and personality. So because I deal with a lot of no's. So at times, that could be discouraging. But I always look at a no as an acronym for next opportunity.
Okay.
So in business, that is just a part of business. You can't let that get you down.
Okay.
Um, as far as things that I would delegate and pass off is definitely accounting. Um, the profit loss statements, keeping account of that stuff, definitely. That's very very tedious.
Yeah, I see you scratching. He
Yeah,
don't like he don't like
yeah.
that.
Just
He can
talking
do that
about
part.
it.
For real, Cliff, for you.
With me, it's I always had a saying, like even with insurance, when I was with wireless or with insurance, it's the same thing. I don't sell the product; I sell customer service, and I really strive to be my best at that. All
Mm,
right, and what I had to find out is just from being, you know, a employee to graduating to being a owner, that I'm not going to be able to attend to each customer like I was, or
mm,
I'm not going to be able to, help each individual like I was doing. And, having that feeling that I let them down, or
mm.
that I'm not honoring my title of being Mr. Customer Service, but you get to that point that you have so many plates spinning
Right.
that if you're not being careful, some of them could fall and break.
Uh,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So that's a part of the struggle of the owner part, along
Mm.
with, like Quan said, accounting and hiring, and it's yeah,
I
it's a
feel
lot.
you. So I'm gonna throw this back up, Lisa, because Lisa, sidebar. We talk about a lot of things, and we talked about insurance. So she said she need to call you, Cliff, because I know
Absolutely,
Lisa be on it. I mean, she's educated me on some things, but Lisa be on it. So again, I'm glad we can make another connect. So I have to ask then to follow up on that business hat. Where do you see, now that you have had your business and you're really out trying to move in the community? Where do you see your impact, or what can you do to help uh, others through your business in the community? And I'm going to start with you, Cliff, on that one.
I'm looking to educate my young males, females, that are in the working field. All
Mhm.
right, just as far as becoming their own person and doing for their own. Um, Also, I'm here to grow my agency in different states, man. Like, this is just a start for me. I want an office in Virginia, one in Maryland, one in New York, North
Okay.
Carolina. So now I'm providing jobs.
Right.
Now I'm providing not just your average hourly income. I'm trying to help you gain financial freedom.
Okay.
All right. And just show you the steps that I took, but you could get it much quicker than the path that I took,
Mm.
to get to where I am. So that's basically my whole goal out of it. And that's where, I feel that I'm gonna be blessed at.
I mean, I love that. And you said something there that I want to come back and ask both of you. But I'm gonna let Quan go ahead. Quan. So, same question: where do you see yourself moving, and what impact you're going to leave or provide to the community at large?
I definitely one thing I would always want to do is provide value, but like Chris says, it's education, educating the people, on the things that I know that I feel like they
Mm,
should know that's gonna benefit them, and the younger they are getting this information, the better off they'll be,
mm.
and have this information in life going
Oh,
forward.
yeah, I love that. And you know, Cliff mentioned something, and I'd just be curious. I know you coming from two different backgrounds, but some of the steps, like what education is required. Let's just say, just on an entry level, if someone wanted to follow in your steps, Quan, to get into credit repair, like what are some of the initial steps? Like what education or training would they have to look into to kind of follow your guideline or your model?
So there's some websites. I know Credit Repair Cloud is one where they have like I think like a 10-day boot camp where they teach you the different strategies and the steps,
Mm,
how to start your credit repair business. It's different agencies and different websites that educate you in that area. But just not knowing your craft, you
mm,
have to know how to start a business and run your business as well.
okay. Well, I'm going to leave this question here before I get to you, Cliff, because Lisa brings up a good question. Um, and I wanted to make sure I get this right. Lisa, let me know. Quan, does your credit go down if you are debt free?
Hmm.
It may, it
Okay.
may, because it requires you to use it to be at a certain score per se.
Okay. Okay. So it does. It may help it go down, but it doesn't guarantee that it will.
Right.
Okay.
I have to have a more specific scenario.
Okay. Okay. And Lisa, if you have a scenario or something that you want to share, please feel free to go ahead and throw it in. But Cliff, I want to go back to you. The initial question. You know, what type of steps of education or anything would you be able to maybe share with someone who may be interested in getting into real estate? I mean, I'm sorry, not real estate, insurance,
Okay.
and become a solo owner.
Yeah, if you want to get into insurance, you definitely don't have to take the role that I did, join up with a corporate company and start off as a corporate sales agent to go to your own. You can, if you have if you have the willing and you're ready to start on your own, you definitely can. You have to get licensed.
Mm.
You know, you need your property and casualty and life and health license, and you study, you read up on it, and knowledge is power. Knowledge is
Indeed.
power. If you
Absolutely.
know a couple of insurance agencies, shadow them.
Mm.
Hang, pick their brain.
Okay.
And that's what I did.
Okay.
That's
It's,
exactly what
Yeah,
I did,
that's that
and
hustle.
that's what worked. Yeah,
Yeah, that's that hustle.
absolutely.
he said a
You know,
mouthful. He said a
Yeah,
mouthful.
I
So
mean that's
having a mentor
yeah.
definitely shortens the learning curve.
wow. And how? So how would you? Let's just say how frequent or how I don't want to say frequent. How the opportunity really, to have a mentor. How does that or where would you find that? Because like I know Cliff said in his field. Good evening, Tisha. How are you? Thanks for joining us this evening. How would you find a mentor? You know what I'm
Um,
saying?
I would say people on social media all the time. I would
Mm,
say look someone up on social media. And if you kind of jive with their energy, you think you could learn from and reach out to them.
okay.
See how I go.
Mm,
But definitely having a mentor takes a lot of
right.
the mistakes out
Okay.
of the way.
Okay, so
That's
Lisa, thank you for coming back. So, to be a little more specific, Juan. So, Lisa's saying if you pay off your house, your credit cards, and have no car note, and are completely debt free, I guess is that what you
So
mean, Lisa? Yeah.
if you're not using credit cards, if you're not using any of your credit, like keeping it, if your car's paid off or your house paid off, and you're not using credit cards, your score just may stay where it is.
Hmm.
But if you're using your credit card, your score may, you know, stay up. I guess if you that's what you're looking for.
So, what is that?
But
Is that
the
that
more credit you
utilization
use,
word?
what was that?
mm.
Is that utilization word or whatever that you hear so much about?
No, utilization is how much credit you have available versus how much you're using.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So just is if it's not active, then nothing's going on with it. It's just gonna be
Gotcha.
stagnant.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. So, if by chance, looking back and how you started, what would be like that one piece of advice that either one of you could give to someone just starting out? And Cliff, I'll start with you.
It's you got to start with the heart. All right,
Mm,
to be on your own, to run your own business, you gotta have the heart. Um, don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do.
mm,
All
mm.
right, that's so don't put those doubts in your head. All right, don't listen to the naysayers. If your partner, my biggest fan is my wife.
Okay.
My wife says, Cliff, you can do it. I know
Mm.
you can. I got it. You know what
Hey.
I mean? So that's my first and foremost center of influence. And
Yep.
then the rest you just have to believe in yourself. You're gonna have to work harder
Yeah.
than your average partner. Your average
Hmm.
partner working 5 days a week, 9 to 5. All right, well, you're gonna have to work 9 to 9, 6 days a week, because that's what it is.
Right.
And it'll pay off in the long run, but you're
Yep.
doing something different.
Mm.
You're
I
doing
love
something
that.
different.
I love that. Quan.
Things can definitely start off slow in business,
Mm.
and you're gonna have those days, but you have to keep going. If you gotta look at yourself in the mirror and talk to yourself,
Yes.
do it.
Yep. I
But
agree.
don't quit. Just don't quit.
Man, I appreciate it. You two gentlemen got my head standing up on both ends. There's no stopping, no quitting. Cliff, I agree with you. My biggest supporter is my wife, And like you say, she tell me I can do it, man. I'm going through the wall.
That's it.
Make it. I'm going through that wall, man. Make it happen. So
That's
before
it.
we close out, I'm gonna ask this like a real random question, and I'm trying to make it so as it relates to being impactful. And yes, Tisha, yes, exactly. Stay focused. And I know, here's a woman, she too with her husband, Carl, same thing. I see and hear them in action when they're doing their thing. And yes, stay focused. Keep your eye on the prize. But like I said, to close out and wanting to kind of touch on being impactful. We all are dealing, we know what the scenario is with today's climate, especially the social climate as far as it relates to the black community. We've seen what happened with the Derek Chauvin trial, and it wasn't even a full day. We had another, police incident, another murder. But I want to talk specifically as men. In your opinion, what steps, can you take, or what can we take as a community, to kind of change that systematic violence that's really being seen against our community as a whole? And it doesn't have to be anything on a grand scheme, but I just like to hear what some other men in our community are thinking and what they feel. I'll start
Um,
with Cliff. Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
all right. Looking at this whole thing, even with yesterday, with the George Floyd, you want to celebrate, all right, but not too hard because still got a lot of work ahead of us. But all the energy and what it took
Mm,
to make the whole George Floyd case to the family's favor, to our favor, it needs to be that, but in a smaller realm.
okay.
All right, so each community needs to do basically what we was all doing nationally, as
Mm,
far as the protesting and the speaking up and trying to talk to higher levels
right.
in our government. Not
Right.
everybody could get to the White House, you know what
Right.
I mean? But you could pretty much take your group of serious professional brothers and sisters out there, all right, and go to
Hmm.
your local buildings,
Yeah.
and to make some noise. And it may take a little longer to climb those steps, but if you do it collectively and in a smaller package, prayerfully we'll get there.
Man, I love that. Quan.
Definitely,
Well,
I agree. We have to find ways to stay involved. We think we're one person or we can't do anything,
hmm
and that's not true. We have to find ways to stay involved.
well, I agree. Totally. Both of you gentlemen, I thank you, for taking time. Hey, to our listeners and our audience, thank you so much. And I'm going to go back and Lisa, yes, you said it very well. This conversation was extremely informative. I hope that those of you who tuned in tonight, if you get a chance, tell your family and friends, man, to check out this episode. I think this is really helping to build a path for us to build a stronger foundation as a community at large. I think we can really thank you, Costa Rican. It really was. I'm inspired by these two men. It's my pleasure and my honor. Tisha, I have to catch the beginning of the show. Hey, we thank you. We support, Carl's conversations and what you and Carl are doing with your show. If anyone hasn't, had an opportunity to check out Carl's conversations, another great show here in our backyard. We have so much talent in our backyard. Check them out. But yeah, tell a friend, check it out. Hit the subscribe button
Damn,
if you haven't.
I can't just be quiet and not salute to you real quick, brother,
Of
because
course.
of the what you're giving us right now, the platform
Yes.
for for us to do. That's thank you very much. And there's so many of my brothers that have businesses that I'm gonna tell them they need to get with you, all
Hey,
right,
man.
because you're setting a standard, and I
Well,
appreciate you.
well, thank you both. It humbles me, and it's my honor. And I thank my wife. This was really her idea to get this entire platform going. With Lisa and I. Lisa, love you, sis. My right hand, my ride or die, my cohort, my troublemaker. This King's Corner is just really an extension. And for our ladies listening, King's Corner is not just going to be all men sitting here talking. I just want to let you know this is coming from a male's perspective, but we're putting together a sex talk conversation show that you're gonna have to put your kids to bed. It's gonna be straight grown folk conversation. So this get ready. But I wanted to have something a little different. But I wanted to continue the platform, and I thank you, gentlemen, again from the bottom of my heart. It humbles me to be around such kings as yourself. Keep doing what you're doing. Whatever we can do here, two mics up. You have a home, you have a platform. We are here to support you. We're here to support the community. And before I go, I want to allow you both, Quan, I'll let you go first. Anything that you have going on or anything that you have coming up, please let our listeners know. Share your social media where they can find you, all of that great information.
At first, I agree with Cliff that how it worked out, it was genius having both of us on the show at the same time with two critical industries that's much needed in our community. Um, you can find me on Instagram at Next Level Keyz with a Z. Also on Facebook, Next Level Keyz. So, have any credit needs, any questions, feel free to reach out.
All right. And Cliff.
You can find me I'm on Facebook. I'm getting my actual business page together as we speak. Major key alert announcement right now. I didn't put it on Facebook yet, so I'm putting on two mics up. But TD3 Insurance Agency will actually go live and grand opening on next Saturday, which is May 1st. So I'm very excited about that. And we're gonna get it going. Looking to partner up with a whole bunch of different industries. Got Quan as my first guy with the credit repair, realtors, loan officers, property managers. I mean, the partnership is keep going, keep going. You could bring a lot of industries together. You can find me on LinkedIn, TD3 Insurance Agency, Clifton, Durham. So we here.
Man, look, first of all, again, I'm gonna say thank you to both of you. Congratulations to you, man, for finally getting that thing up and running. We got to work out some kind of way, man. Two mics up might have to come down, to both of you. Both of you have shop store. Let us know, man. We might have to come down, man. Grand opening, something, show a face, do a live, whatever it is, man. But congratulations to both of you, gentlemen. I really appreciate you all both taking the time out of your busy schedules. And thank you.
Okay.
And, thank you. Yes. Thank you, Kings, on the panel. I couldn't agree with you more, sis. And like we always do, family, you can follow Two Mics Up online at www.twomicsup.com. And I was going to throw out there, our store will be coming to you live May. So we're going to have a store for those of you who are looking for paraphernalia, merchandise, and all that. Cliff, I got you. We talk. Quan, we talking to you. Got you. So that's coming. Also, just for those. Yeah, at least I know you got bars.
Lisa, this is for a commercial.
I know Lisa got bars. Lisa got bars for real. Also, I've had some inquiries, and I'm going to put together an introduction to podcasting. I had some people reach out. If you're interested and you want to find out more details about podcasting, I'm working on putting together a class for that. If you're interested, send us an email at vp2micsup@gmail.com. Yeah, exactly. That one's funny. Lisa throwing bars out there, y'all. Go back, check out a couple episodes. She spit game. Real talk.
She got it. She winning.
Yeah. Follow Two Mics Up on social media, IG, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now we are officially content creators. All at Two Mics Up. Feel free, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you can get all the notifications. Tell a friend, tell auntie, uncles, and them, come hang out with us. Well, we love having you here with us. And like we always do at this time, stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out.